Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to your weekly general taroscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you, as always. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, so these readings are for the general energies, trends and themes we're likely to be experiencing over the course of the week. And very often here I will talk about the microcosm and the macrocosm. So this is kind of the energy as it relates to everybody over the course of the week, all under the guise of my intuitive message. So before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So this week, for our key to our message for the week, what I actually saw was a human being and their heart space. Now, if you've been with me long enough, you know that I believe that your heart is your power pack, right? This is where all of your energy, all of your power comes from. It's the thing that drives us, right? Even those people that appear to be devoid of emotion, your heart is the thing that drives all of us, right? Whether it is through love, fear, whatever it is, or, however many emotions there are, they all come from that space, right? And it is the most powerful energy that we generate, right? It's from the heart space, that electromagnetic kind of energy that we exude. And the message that I got from this was, this week you need to bring up your force field, right? This is about tapping into that heart space energy this week. Whatever it is that comes up this week, whatever it is that is thrown at us, whatever it is that is revealed on the wider world stage, like, I don't care what it is, whether this happens on the microcosmic level, whether it happens on the macrocosmic level. This week, your force field, right? Your personal force field, your personal unfuckwithableness needs to be intact, right? You need to have your walls up, and this isn't about being standoffish. It's not about being mean or keeping people at arm's length. It's about standing in your own power and not allowing yourself to be emotionally manipulated or moved in any way, shape or form. And the only way that you can truly do that is by being in that heart space, owning it, and not allowing anything or anyone to sway you from that seat of power. All right, I'm more stick rather than play this week. You guys know me. I tend to be, I'm quite theatrical and loud and all the rest of it, but when it's serious, it's serious. And this feels for me like, when I went into my intuition, this was what I saw. It was a very intense week ahead, and everything that happens is all going to be based at trying to smack you in that emotional center. And because if something hits you in that space, it throws you off kilter. If you allow that energy to expand outside of you and you bring up your force field, ain't nothing can touch you. Come from that space this week. That is where you need to be, wherever it is, whatever it is that comes up. For the Destiny card, over the course of this week, we have... Okay, so that card seems to want out. The Magician card. So yes, the Magician card, height of the game and all the rest of it, power, yah. What is the other meaning of this card, right? The other meaning of the Magician card is trickster energy, right? So this is not a week to allow anyone or anything to pull the wool over your eyes, whether this is, again, on the wider world stage. I don't watch the news. I haven't watched the news since before the pandemic because I don't buy into a lot of the stuff. Like, most of the stuff that I see or hear is usually from, clients or you guys that send me articles and stuff to say, you predicted this and it happened. Or if I'm scrolling through and I happen to see something on a feed, then yeah, fine, fair enough, But outside of that, I don't check for that stuff. And there's a reason for it. I choose to be an inclusive human being, and that stuff is by its very nature divisive, and I'm not interested in that. I never have been. Now, that being said, we've got the Magician card as the Destiny card. You choose what you create. You choose what you manifest. You choose how your energy, your thoughts are put out into the world, how they are managed, how they are manipulated, if you want them to be, etc. This week, tapping into your personal power to erect or bring up your force field is really where it is at. That being said, I would not be surprised if we see or hear of some trickery and or, excuse my language, I know a lot of you don't like it when I swear, but some sort of fuckeries. So I'm going to say this to you here and now. Be vigilant this week. The other thing as well, remember the Mercury card? The Magician card is Mercury ruled, and Mercury is currently retrograde, right? So just watch the communication this week. Read between the lines. When it comes to our direction energy, how do we best tap into this? How do we best use the energy that is available to us over the course of this week, which is a manifesting energy, but it is somewhat sort of overshadowed by some of whatever else might be taking place right now. We have the Ten of Swords, right? So this may be a time, a week, or a moment where you're deciding to release some sort of communication, to let something go. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a very public clash of words this week. Just watch out for that, and you know how much I mean, we've already seen it with some of the celebrities, etc., whatever. This will be something else, and it will be a lot more heightened, and it may be a lot more intense. We also have the Six of Wands, right? So this is in effect, because it's all underneath the guise of the Magician, right? So this is in effect, that Six of Wands is really saying the best way for us to get through is really by being clear on what we're ready to release. This is a week where not only being vigilant, right, but also being very honest about what has served its purpose, about where we are buying into or allowing something to sway us, our minds, or our decisions. This is actually, in effect, this is a week of really powerful self-honesty about where we let external circumstances either get in our way or support us. For the final card here, we've got the Four of Cups. When is a win not a win, right? It's funny because I was having a conversation about this today actually, and this whole thing that we've got here in the UK, where you know all of the restrictions are now suddenly being lifted because certain persons in power had been found to be having parties while the rest of the country were having family members dying without being able to see their loved ones. You know, when is a win not a win? I would say that is when a win is not a win. However, that being said, with the Four of Cups here on top of the Six of Wands, this may be, for some of us, a moment where some very harsh words are spoken. It's really interesting that the Four of Swords isn't present here, the Five of Swords even isn't present here, because that's what this feels like to me. It may be on a personal level, maybe an argument brews, maybe a really heavy conversation comes to pass, maybe you're having to set a boundary or make it official that you are cutting ties with someone or something. And I got to be honest with you, because you've got the Four of Cups on the Six of Wands, there might be a part of this that makes all of us kind of feel like, wow, you know what, maybe that wasn't the best move. But you will see very quickly how honouring your time, your space, your energy, your frequency, how cutting out or off anything that either doesn't serve you or has just served to run you ragged in some way, shape or form is actually the best path or course of action that you can take. And you're going to see how this plays out. For our insight cards, what are coming in that we might need to be aware of? We have the Ace of Cups, lovely. We have the Queen of Wands, very nice. And look at this, right? The Sun card. So yes, I'm going to be honest with you, this looks like a challenging week, definitely, especially because we're sifting through the BS, right? And that really is one of the ways that you can use this week's energy. But with the Ace of Cups, that is, right, so it basically says it's just kind of localized. This week's going to be a bit crappy, but after that it will start to lift. You've got this with the Queen of Wands, which almost suggests to me, like, by setting the boundary and owning your heart space, Ace of Cups, the Sun card pops out, right? So this really is a moment, and it's not like, you know, there's a lot of this kind of, and I don't want to call it out and, you know, start any beef or anything, but this whole, if you don't get on the train now, you're going to fucking miss it, and like, who needs that? Nobody needs that. Don't get me wrong. When you're serious, you've got to be serious. Like I was with you guys here about bringing up your force field, being very clear about who or what you allow into your energy field, being very clear about who or what you let into your space, being very clear about who or what you allow to put their thoughts or their stubby fingers or fucking clumsy feet into your brain, right? It's really, really important to uphold that aspect of self, right? Mind, body, spirit, for sure. However, there are ways that we can get some of this across to people without like scaring the absolute crap out of them. And what this suggests to me is this week, you are having to make a very clear-cut decision. You are having to decide who makes the cut and who doesn't, who is in and who is out. And that really kind of is it. And the reason that's happening is because as we step into the next week, this is the energy that we're looking forward to. This is the energy that we've needed. This is where 2022, as we get into February, really starts to amp up, really starts to show up for us in all the wonderful stuff that has been predicted by myself, lots of other really amazing astrologers, tarot readers, numerologists. It's not just me, I would never just say that. But if we're out here screaming at people, telling them how, you know, the world is doomed and everything's going to crap, how does that actually help anybody? Stop focusing there. Stop telling people that they've missed the train and all the rest of it. I don't buy into that. You can start and restart your life at any given moment that you choose, as long as you come back to your center, right? Sorry, I'm getting very passionate right now. Soapbox moment, right? And this suggests to me making these cuts this week, being honest with yourself. Where is it that I'm getting in my own way, but where is it that some of who or what or where even I'm tied to is now holding me back, and I need to make that cut? Because if you're prepared to make those cuts, the energy that comes rushing in straight after is all of the blessings that we've all been collectively hoping for and waiting for. So this is a moment to choose, but it's not a moment of, well, you know what, that's it, the universe is done with you because you didn't make the decision at the right time. Yes, there are moments to move ahead with opportunities, and yes, sometimes we do miss opportunities, but that doesn't mean that the universe then just discards you. I really want to start breaking down that narrative because it's just, quite frankly, it's bullshit. All right? Excuse me. Coming back. Ew. Rappy on a mission and a soapbox. I apologise, but I felt that was really, really important to address, as is this thing, and I'm going to start talking more about this because I feel like it's really important. You will have multiple purposes over a lifetime. Multiple purposes over a lifetime. We're not objects. We are multifaceted beings, and over the course of a lifetime, we will have many uses to the universe, to the collective, to the cosmos. We will have many purposes to fulfill in a single lifetime. It's not just one and that's it, and then you're done, and then, you know, on the scrap heap of life. Start thinking broader than that. Start thinking bigger than that, because each one of you, as just a human being and a soul, is so much more vast than we give ourselves credit for. All right? With that said, I wish you all an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. I apologise for my potty mouth. Take care, and I'll see you soon.